Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees to the Gita Daily session. So thanks for joining. So today we'll be discussing Shloka number 3.37. So let's look at the Shloka. Before that, we'll take the blessings of the Lord. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya Sudarshan, Gaurantaya and Lakshmi Narsimha Dev Panchatattva. So let's recite the praise. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Let's dedicate a session to His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, by whose mercy and tireless effort, we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita in a way that we can apply it practically in our day-to-day life. So let's thank Srila Prabhupada. So today we'll discuss Sloka 3.37. So let's recite the Sloka. Shri Bhagavan काम एषा क्रोध एषा रजोगुणा समुद्भवा महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्येनम् इह वैरिणम्. Repetition. श्री भगवानुवाच काम एषा क्रोध एषा रजोगुणा समुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्येनम् इह वैरिणम्. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of the world." Let's see the word to word meaning. Sri Bhagavan Vaja, the personality of Godhead said, Kama, lust, Esha, this, Krodha, wrath, Eshaha, this, Rajaguna, the mode of passion, Samudbhava, born of, Mahashana, all devouring, Mahapapma, greatly sinful, Vidhi, no, Enam, this, Iha, in this material world, Vairinam, the greatest enemy. So we'll read the translation again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all devouring sinful enemy of this world." So, we will discuss today's topic. So, I have some small issue with the internet. I'm using my mobile data. So, if there is any issue, no, in the if sound is breaking or something, you can just put a message in the chat. So I can probably try to repeat at that time. Yeah. So we are continuing the discussion of Bhagavad Gita. We are in the third chapter, and we are today discussing the shloka number 37. So what is the context of this shloka? So Lord actually is explaining about karma yoga in this topic. So previous shlokas we saw the importance of performing yajna, right? And the different modes, how they are acting. So yesterday we saw how the jiva, no, the bewildered jiva, who actually is thinking that he is the body, also thinks that he is the only doer. He is the only doer. But then we saw that there are other activities or other factors which actually comes into consideration when the jiva is acting or performing the activities. So so after that actually Arjuna asked Krishna before this shloka, the previous shloka, Arjuna asked Krishna, why is that the jiva is is forcefully is by, like, it looks like as if it by force they are actually forced to commit sinful activities. So sometimes the jiva may not want to do sinful activities. So all of us have experienced that actually we do not want to do sinful activities, but sometimes we act as if we are under force, or we are not able to control that propensity to commit sinful activities. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, why it is so, the Lord, that actually the jiva is forced to commit sinful activities. So to this Krishna, Lord is replying that kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapa vidyenam iha vairinam. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, so it is kama and krodha. No, Arjuna, it is because of kama and krodha. Kama is actually lust, and krodha is anger, which is actually caused due to rajoguna. So we have seen the three modes, no, sattoguna, rajoguna, and tamoguna. Sattoguna is the mode of goodness, rajoguna is the mode of passion, and tamoguna is the mode of ignorance. So it is because of rajoguna, the mode of passion, that the jiva is propelled to commit, to come under the sway of kama and krodha. And it is mahashano and mahapama. It is very strong, mahashano and mahapama, and it is greatly sinful. So these kama and krodha, they are actually the primary cause of the fall down of the jiva. Vidyanam iha vairinam. So these are actually the internal enemies of the jiva. So one of the main, so many of the time we think that no, our enemy is outside, but actually, most of the time the enemy is within, right? Our mind and the senses, they are actually the primary cause, or of our activities, and because of which we become bound in the material world. So so let's understand, little more detail the topic. So actually, there are, scriptures says there are six vices. So it is kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, right? So they are lust, anger, greed, delusion, pride, and envy. So these are the six major vices, or the enemies of the jiva, of which the lust actually is the most important, or the primary, because we have seen in the second chapter, right, how actually, no, the series of incidents happened for the fall down, right? We saw that, right? ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा संगस्तेषु वजायते संगात् संजायते कामात् क्रामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधोद्भवति सम्मोहा सम्मोहात् स्मृतिभ्रंश स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. So we have seen that actually, basically, initially the jiva contemplates on the sense objects, right? So and then he decides, it develops attachment, and when attachment is not fulfilled, anger. So we have seen that sequence. So basically, the lust actually is one of the root cause, right? And it's also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Actually, in 16th chapter, Sloka 21, it says, Trividam naragasyetam dwaram nashanam atmana kama krodhas tada lobhas tasmadedat trayam tajet. So it's saying that Trividam naraga. So there are three doors to the hell, right? So Trividam Naragasyeram Dwaram Nashanam Atmana. So the three gates to hell which actually destroys the jiva. So what are the three gates? The Kama, Krodha, and Lobha. So the first three of the six vices. So they are the primary causes for the jiva's fall down. So let us try to revisit some of the topics. No, we have already discussed, and we try to extend that understanding. So, so we already saw, that sequence of incidents, right? So it starts with the contemplation or sense object. The sense object actually initially provides us the information about the world around us, and we become attached, and the series of things we saw, right? And so how actually, so what is actually lust? Let's try to little bit understand what is lust. So from a dictionary perspective or English language perspective, right, or in even in Sanskrit language, kama, right? So in Sanskrit, kama actually has a broader meaning, but in English, lust actually is most commonly used to indicate the strong, or the blind desire to enjoy the opposite gender, right? So this is one of the primary cause, or the material world, which actually binds the jiva. So because it is in the bodily conception, but in Sanskrit, lust actually has a much broader definition. So lust actually could mean any strong desire that blinds the jiva. So it could be, the lust actually, it can be for the power. For example, somebody is blind to achieve power, right? We see that in political circle, people go to any extent to kill their opponents, right? And then they destroy, they can go to any extent. So this any kind of blind strong desire, right, to enjoy something or to acquire something, can be considered as lust, right? So this is lust actually. So there are different aspects, that the jiva can be bound in this way, right? So how actually the lust is developed, or how is the lust, how jiva acquires the lust, is something actually which the scriptures describe. We have also seen briefly. So we have discussed, earlier few times that the jiva actually, is a spiritual entity. It is not a material. It's not made of matter. Though the jiva is covered by two kind of bodies, we have seen it, the subtle body, or the sukshma sharira, right, which is actually mind, intelligence, and ego, right? So this is the first covering of the jiva, the soul, and the second covering is the gross body, which is earth, water, fire, air, and ether, the Panchabhutas. So what we can see or perceive is the Sthula Sharira, which is the made of the five elements, right? But essentially, the Jiva is a spirit soul. No, it is doesn't belong to the material world, and it is not made of matter. Where does the spirit come from? The spirit comes from the spiritual world, right? So the spiritual world actually is where the Jiva's original home is, where the Jiva's original position or original constitutional position was to serve the Lord. So the Jiva was, is the constant companion of the Lord, and the Jiva is happy in the spiritual world serving the Lord, right? So it is mentioned that the spiritual world is known as the Tripada Vibhuti, and the material world is called Ekapada Vibhuti. So which means the material world is only one fourth of the creation, and the three fourth is spiritual world, right? And the Jiva is actually constantly serving. All the Jivas are happily serving the Lord and the spiritual world, right? They are known as the Vaikunta planets. So the Vaikunta is not one planet, but they are innumerable Vaikunta planets, which is much more than the material universes. So here in various forms, the Lord exists, and the Jiva is actually having reciprocation with the Lord, loving relationship. So the original relationship with the Lord of the Jiva is in the form of love, right? The Jiva actually is loving the Lord, and the Lord actually also reciprocates. So this is the spiritual world, right? The Jiva's original propensity is to love unconditionally. But then when some Jiva has a desire to enjoy independent of the Lord, so the material world is created for those jivas who want to enjoy independently. So whenever the jiva remembers the original loving relationship with the Lord, it cannot fully enjoy himself, no, independent of the Lord. So the jiva's intelligence of the memory of the relationship with the Lord actually is covered by Maya when it comes to the material world, right? So the jivas who want to enjoy independently, they actually come to the material world, which actually is created for this purpose, and they forget the Lord, and then so that they can try to enjoy here, themselves. So this love, which is originally the pure in form, is transformed into lust when it comes to the material world, right? And the jiva then wants to enjoy for himself. He becomes the center of all his activities, and he wants to enjoy various things, the material objects, the sense objects. So he is given the five senses and the various sense objects, and the jiva actually try to enjoy the sense objects, and in this process, it actually has commits sinful activities, because when the lust is not satisfied, he becomes frustrated and anger arises, right? And then anger actually results in committing sinful activities, because the people become blind by lust and anger, and then they forget actually their relationship with the with their even with the near and dear one. We see so much incidents today's world that the family members, they kill, the father is killing their children, or the child is killing the father, right? Because of whatever ego, or the so-called the family reputation, whatever it is, whatever reasons actually, when and for property they kill. So the jiva actually start committing sinful activities, and then because of sinful activities he has to suffer for that sinful reactions. So this way the jiva become more and more entangled in the material world, he gets stuck in the network of committing sinful activities, and get bound by this process. So when we understand what is the root cause of the lust, then actually we can try to address it, right? So generally, the people who are materially inclined and doesn't have spiritual knowledge, spiritually blind, they doesn't have any idea, why actually this lust is happening. Even though they sometimes feel that they don't want to do sinful activities, but they are helplessly committing it. So this is also because of their past vasanas, right? In many lifetimes, the jiva is committing sinful activities, and this create various vasanas or tendencies or instincts in the jiva, which is carried across the lifetimes, and this impels the jiva also to commit sinful activities. But essentially, the primary reason is the transformation of love into lust, due to the mode of passion. So, what is the solution for this problem? Actually, it is not possible to suppress lust or anger, right? If you try to suppress lust or anger, it actually may work for some time, but then it just waits for an opportunity, again to come with bigger force, and it actually sweeps away the jiva. His determination is swept away, and then he again get back indulging into sinful activities. So the actual way to control, or to address the issue of lust is to transform it back into the original love of Lord, right? So originally the love, the pure love to the Supreme Lord Krishna, right? That is the original constitutional nature of the jiva. So when we again start engaging in the devotional service of Krishna, or Supreme Lord, then actually the lust actually will again get transformed into love. So as we have seen, right? It is very difficult to artificially control the desires or the vasanas. So the only way is to engage the senses and the mind in actually the service of Lord. So when all the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, and the mind is also, contemplating and meditating on the Lord, then actually everything becomes pacified. This lust actually is something which is agitates the mind. Once the person is lusty, he becomes restless, right? And he actually, becomes blinded, and he becomes very much agitated, right? So it's very difficult to suppress it. So, but then when we naturally transform into the original love of Lord, then actually everything becomes pacified, and the jiva is able to come back to his constitutional position. So that the solution to the problem is, engage engage in spiritual activities, transform our consciousness by spiritual activity, so that everything becomes normal, or no, it actually is restored to the original position. Yeah, so we let's look at a small uh, story. We have actually seen multiple, stories from the Puranas about this lust, right? We discussed about Ajamala, right? When we discussed the sloka previously in second chapter, we saw how Ajamala, who was a pure Brahmana, completely fell down from the path of, spirituality. So today we look at the story of Ravana. Ravana, I think everybody knows about, Ravana, who was the ruler of Lanka, and he actually, it is mentioned that, Ravana actually was born into a very pious family. His father was a Brahmana, and Ravana was actually trained in Vedic tradition. He actually, he learned the Vedic mantras, slokas, and he was performing yagyas. Right, he was also a very great scholar in the Vedic scriptures. So, but actually, what happened because of, his vices, right? He became very proud of his power, right? He did great sacrifices to please Lord Shiva. He got a lot of boon, and with that, he became very much proud, and he became blind by actually his power. So he conquered even the demigods, right? So what result to his complete downfall actually is lust, because when the Lord Ram and Sita, they were actually in the forest during exile, um, Shurpanaga actually comes and, describes to Ravana about Sita. Uh, Ravana becomes lustful. He want to enjoy with the Sita, mother Sita. So this was the root cause of Ravana's fall down, right? And then he became blind. He actually gave up the good advice of all the council. So his wife Mandodari actually tried to advise her. Vibhishana gave him good advice, ministered advice, but he was, because he was blind by the lust, he could not see the truth, or he could not clearly think, and actually fueled by this lust, he actually, we know the rest of the story, how, actually his entire kingdom was, he was destroyed, all his army, everything was destroyed. He lost all his achievement in the world because of the lust. So this is a classic example, but we have so many examples in the scriptures. And no, even in today's world, if you just read the newspaper, or no, you see the internet, we can see that many cases of the sinful activities which are committed, like, murder, all these things actually, are, the fundamental cause actually is the desire to enjoy, independently, or blind desire to achieve something, right? So we have to be very much careful to guard against, the fall down, which actually, is caused by the vices. Okay, so let's try to, wrap up. What are the key lessons we learned, or how can we apply, in today's, in our day-to-day activity? So first of all, we have to recognize the enemy, which actually the most important enemy, which is within us, right? This is actually the lust, which is to enjoy independent of the Lord, right? Uh, so how can we solve it? We have seen it. Actually, we cannot suppress the lust, but then we have to gradually purify our consciousness, right? How actually we can do it? By developing a higher taste. No, we have discussed that in the previous session. So we cannot suppress these propensities, but actually when we get develop a higher taste, then this lower taste will become, insignificant, right? And also when we redirect our original pure love towards the Lord, when we engage in devotional service, like starting with the chanting of the holy name, right? So we are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra every day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have seen that this Hare Krishna mantra is the process of yajna for the Kali Yuga, this particular fallen age, that everybody can perform it easily, right? So these names of the Lord are actually non-different from the Lord, and it can purify our consciousness just by chanting the holy name, right? And so there are fundamental ABCD we call in spiritual life. So A is association of devotees, satsanga. we actually is books, no, reading the spiritual, getting the spiritual knowledge, scriptural knowledge by reading the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita. Then C is the chanting of the holy name, and D is diet. So D diet means, no, eating sattvic food, right? And most important, eating the prasada. No, offer the food which actually is recommended in scriptures, which are sattvic in nature, and after the offering it to the Lord, it becomes prasadam, and prasadam is actually spiritualized. So when we eat prasadam, our consciousness becomes purified. So we will discuss more about it in later session. But I know there are a lot of studies done that the food actually has influence on our thoughts, right, and mental state. So pure food is, we should try to eat prasadam as much as possible, right? In a professional life, yeah, we have to control, like in the sense, we should be aware of our ambitions, and we should not become too much lusty for position, wealth, etc. Right? So we've seen that how karma works, right? So whatever we are destined, anyway, will come to us, right? So we try to become happy with whatever actually, whatever possessions or whatever success we are having. Do our best, but then be happy with whatever results come, because we think should understand that what is destined is coming to us. In family life, we have seen, just discussed some time back, that actually lust is one of the primary cause for breakdown in marriage, right? Because people are, they are foolish, and then they think that, no, okay, no, if I get, it's okay, we are married, actually I got a spouse, and then, no, and sometimes after marriage, we are not happy with the relationship, right? Because we become, when we see somebody else, people think that, okay, I'm not able to happy with my current wife, no, let me go with somebody else, right? So this is a completely foolish mentality, because again we have to understand that what is destined only will come to us, right? So if you try to be happy with whatever situation the Lord is provided, then actually we can be happy. And also we should understand that the difficulties which it comes in our life, right, is meant for our purification, right? So if you try to avoid, there may be difficult situations, everything may not be perfect in life, right? So we may have some problem or other. So we should understand that it cannot be perfect, because the material world actually is not meant to be perfect, right? So what is destined will definitely come to us. And thinking that, no, I'll be happy in a different situation is actually foolishness. So we have to understand that, okay, this situation has come to me because of my past karma. It is for my purification. If I try to avoid it, then again I'll get into another situation, or in another life, no, again I'll be put into a similar situation. So better let us go through the difficulty, right? Let us try to understand, compromise, or no, or try to come in terms with actually whatever situation is provided to us, and try to make best out of that situation, right? Rather than trying to think that, okay, another situation will make me happy. So yeah, so these are some of the important lessons, that we can apply. With that, actually, we come to the end of today's time. So if anybody wants to leave at this point, they can leave. Or if there are any questions, you can unmute and ask, or you can put it in the chat. Hare Krishna. So if there are no questions, I would like to thank all devotees who are joining every day. So please keep coming for the session, and also, you can invite your friends, relatives. If anybody has
Hare
missed
Krishna,
past
Prabhuji.
sessions, yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt.
Yes, Mataji.
Today we discussed about Ravana, right?
Yeah, Mataji.
So in past life he was the security guard of Vishnu in Vaikuntha,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and those souls they are serving Krishna in his planets. How they can get the like lust and how they can fall down, Prabhuji? How it will happen? Because of the past life karma only Ravana has done all those things, right?
Yes, Mataji. So, Mataji, so we have one thing, no, there is something we have to understand how it is actually. See, there are two kind of, jivas who are coming in the material world. Okay. So, one is known as the Nitya Siddha, and one is known as the Nitya Baddha. So, Nitya Baddha is the conditioned souls, like who are the normal jivas, normal people actually we are having. And then there is something called Nitya Siddhas. Nitya Siddhas are eternally liberated soul who actually come to the material world just to act pastimes with the Lord. So Krishna, saw some time back, no, when the Lord comes to the material world, he also comes with all his associates from the spiritual world, right? So the Lord's pastimes actually, it is when it comes in the material world are difficult for the ordinary souls to understand. So in Bhagavad Gita later we will see that Krishna says, no, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yodo tat veti tattvada takta punarjanma naiti ma medi suarjuna. So my pastimes and activities are difficult for the ordinary souls to understand. So this is one thing. So Jaya and Vijaya, right, are the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, of Narayana, Lord Narayana. And then when the Lord wants to, so sometimes the Lord will come on various pretexts to the material world. So it is mentioned in the scriptures that Lord actually has a desire to fight. So all the desire that the jiva has in the material world is also there in the Lord, Supreme Lord. When the Lord decided to fight, he wanted some strong opponents, right? So he actually requested. I mean, his desire was that Jaya and Vijaya will also come along with him to perform the pastimes in the material world, right? So the Jaya Vijaya was cursed by the four Kumaras, right? So that was just a situation created by the Lord, so that no, they can come down. So we cannot compare the activities of Jaya and Vijaya, who are actually eternally liberated soul. Huh? So they are just acting a pastime. So the Lord actually, so they came down as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in the first life, right? And then Kumbhakarna and Ravana, right? Then Shishupala and Dandavaktra. So they are so basically when the Kumaras cursed him, so no, they give one relief actually. They asked, so they asked, you have two options. Either you can, have many lifetimes as the friend of the Lord, or no, or you have three lifetimes as enemy of the Lord and come back. So they wanted to come back to Vaikuntha as early as possible. So they told, like, we want three lives as enemy of Krishna, of the Lord. So in short, to answer your question, the some
Mhm.
special souls, like who comes
Yes,
along with the Lord to
Prabhuji.
perform activities in the material world, they are not really bound by the material laws. Their activities are not like they are not really fully affected by karma, but then they come with the Lord to show, to teach the jivas, general jivas, about certain important lessons, right? So the jiva can learn based on that. So the life of Ravana actually is a classic example, where we saw how the last actually results in destruction. So I hope we answered the question, Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Hare
Thanks.
Krishna.
Okay. Anybody has any other question? Okay. So then, yeah, then we'll end the session here. Thanks all for joining. So today's Ekadashi. I just want to remind you. So today is a very auspicious spiritual day. So whatever spiritual activity which we do on Ekadashi, we get many times the benefit. So, this is very dear to the Lord, it's Ekadashi day. So, Krishna actually is very merciful Father, no? Even though the Jiva has come here and forgotten the Lord, his Father, the Lord creates or provides various opportunity for the Jiva to come back to him. So, he is just waiting for any opportunity. So, even if Jiva makes a small attempt, the Lord actually supports him. So, this way, there are many occasions, the Lord gives. So, one of them is Ekadashi. So, Ekadashi is a very holy day, comes twice in a month, where actually the Lord has given a lot of benedictions. Like just a special sale, in Christmas we have special sale, right? Similarly, the Ekadashi is an opportunity, right? So we can do any small activity, right? Spend this time a day in the on the Ekadashi. So if it is possible, we can avoid eating grains, because it is not recommended to eat grains on Ekadashi. You can just have fruits, milk and other things, if it is possible. But then otherwise, what is more important is to have a spiritual consciousness. Try to remember Krishna, the Lord's activities more. So read scriptures, chant more rounds, right? Right. Try to have association of devotees, right? Try to eat prasadam. So try to remember the Lord more. The idea of Ekadashi is to engage the mind in the service of the Lord. No, try to remember more. So any small activity you can try to do today, that will have a lot of benefits. So yeah, with that we'll end today's session. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.